Hello, my name is Carol May Whittick, spiritual life coach, and welcome to Her Inspirations and to the final episode of the special series Flow into 2024. And just a recap, over the weeks we've had week 1 was Essence, where we did a review of what 2023 was for us. Week 2 was Desire, looking at what we want for 2024. Week 3 was Evolve, looking at who we need to become to attain what we desire for 2024. And last week, week 4 was the Foundation, as what do we need to put in place to succeed. And this week is Create, bringing it all to life. Over the weeks, I've invited you to join the mailing list to get the journals for you to do deeper work with this. There is still plenty of time for you to play catch up as well, don't worry. So look in the show notes for the link to sign up, and this week's email will include links to all of the previous journals. So don't worry about that. From Yogananda, you must not let your life run in the ordinary way. Do something that nobody else has done, something that will dazzle the world. Show that God's creative principle works in you. So this week, Create is about getting in the mindset for creating the desire and doing it in flow, because we spent the past 4 weeks looking at the different areas that most people skip. We've delved into reflection, intention setting, getting into alignment, understanding exactly what transformation we want to bring into our lives. And now, as we're here at the beginning of a new year, our focus turns to the power of creation. So this episode is all about turning those dreams to reality, manifesting the life that we desire, and stepping into the fullness of the potential of the vision that we have in our minds. And I would suggest also, like we looked back on 2023, choose a word for 2024. Choose a word that encapsulates what you intend for it, the energy, the vision that you have for yourself in 2024. From Miles Davis. I'm always thinking about creating. My future starts when I wake up in the morning and I see the light. And to echo that quote, often when we're thinking about creating something new in the world, we think about it in such a broad stroke, but everything that we attain can be broken down into micro steps. And that starts with how we spend our day and even the minutes of our day. To get on the right foot for creating is to plan your day, to make it conducive to creating what you desire, to make sure that you're raising your frequency. So we begin by getting ourselves prepared for success. And especially when it comes to getting into the vision and the energy of that will come from your practice, your spiritual practice. And that can be a meditation, a prayer. It may be a walk that you take in nature. How are you tapping into that energy so it can fuel you? Remember, we're co-creating our dreams here as well. And we have the energy of God. We have the energy of creation and the universe around us. Why would we not align with that to help us bring our dreams into the tangible world? Also, if you're part of the mailing list, you would have received the Embody Higher Energetic Resonance course. And within that is the visualization of visualizing, getting into the space and the energy and embodying the feeling of your future self. So you already have a sensation of what that looks like, what it feels like, smells like, tastes like, as many senses as you can bring on board will inform the kind of action that you take on, will inform also the confidence that you have when you're making your moves. And also what we want to do as well in our morning is to align with and call on our intuition and higher self, so that we can work on building the trust with that divine connection, so that also we'll start to be able to recognize those prompts and those whispers of intuition that come through that sometimes as well may even seem counter to common sense, but your higher self from your intuition is tapped into something that we can't on the ground level always see. For myself, how I begin my day, I always like to begin it with contemplation, journaling of some sort as well. And then I like to do my workout. So I've been really committed to strength training and Pilates, and these things are very conducive to feeling the power within your own body, and also feeling that you've attained something within the first, couple of hours in the day. Also, as I'm working out, I always like to have on in the background podcasts or lectures that are related to my work, so that I can learn about changes in the industry. I can learn about new skills that I might need to up level on. I can get myself in the right mindset of it, and also to get myself spiritually inspired, so that when I sit down and decide, okay, this is when the day starts, which is usually around about 8 a.m. for me, I'm already filled with that energetic resonance. That means that taking action, and sometimes the action that I need to take is not necessarily the sexiest of work, but things that need to be done, that I know it's all part of what needs to be done, and I'm willing to do it. From Rumi: when setting out on a journey, do not seek advice from someone who has never left home. Equally important is who has access to you. Who is it who knows about your dream? And do you need to create in secret to protect the seedlings of what you're working on? Because not everyone will understand or even appreciate that you want to move forward. When I've spoken about changes that I want to make and things that I want to bring forward, it's been met with different reactions, and the people who are working on their own goals are supportive and just are really hands off and allow me to go into the space that I need to in order to get things started. But recently I've come across the "don't forget about me" statement from somebody. And it's as if they're feeling that if me moving forward is going to create a disconnect. That statement in itself already creates a disconnect for me already, because I know that I'm going to change. In the process of creating something, in the process of doing something new, I have to shift. And if there's somebody who wants me to not forget about them, I'm not going to forget about anybody. You have to be sure that people are going to understand that they may have to see less of you for a while. Will they be able to understand why you're doing that? And will they be able to support you, or will they complain? Referring back to the person who thought that I was going to forget about them, they have been quite vocal in their complaints about not seeing me for a while, and interestingly not really asked about any of the things that I've been doing other than they've not seen me. That's also things that you may encounter yourself as you're making those changes, is that people are going to see less of you, or people are going to see you in a different way. And also then when they start to see things start to open up for you, how are they then going to be responding to you? Are they still going to make demands on your time? Are they even going to congratulate you on the fact that you've done so much work? Because anyone who knows on the entrepreneurial side of things, it takes a lot to get something to move forward sometimes. When people are unable to understand that, that can be frustrating, but also it will highlight to you where maybe you need to make space between yourself and that person, because as you keep growing and they're not growing, there is going to be some friction going forward. As you start to surround yourself with more supportive and more successful people, they will never discourage you from going into hermit mode while you build, because they will understand they would have had to have done similar things in order to create that for themselves anyway, for their own success. Look at your work environment as well. Where are you working? Have you furnished yourself with the tools and the resources that you need to support you as you're moving forward? Are you aligned with groups? Are you aligned with coaches? Do you have the books, the podcasts, the audio books, whatever it takes to keep fueling what you need in order to move forward? From George Bernard Shaw: life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Also included in this week's Flow into 2024 journal is a progress tracker. It just helps you to, one, be able to see as you're moving forward the steps that you're taking forward. When we begin, the movement is often incremental, and sometimes it just helps to see that you are taking action on a consistent basis and just doing something every day. It will remind you that you are working towards something. And then reward yourself for your discipline, reward yourself for the consistency that you're showing. And that can just be a small gift. It doesn't have to be something that breaks the bank. It can be a trinket. It can be something that is useful for what you're doing in your new venture as well. I use a lot of online software services, and sometimes the reward is to kind of upgrade into the next subscription level that gives me a few more options, that helps to optimize my workflow. Your upgrade and your reward can just be something that helps you move better and work better within what it is that you're trying to create. And also celebrate your wins. When you start to see a shift, when you start to see something take form, congratulate yourself on that and reward yourself, because you deserve a reward for the work that you've done. And also when you receive any kind of feedback, ideally we want it to be positive, but any kind of feedback, especially in the beginning days, and if what it is that you're creating relies on bringing something to other people, then their feedback is going to be useful. Whether it's positive or negative, you'll be able to see how people are able to respond from that. Embrace the challenge of bringing something new into the world. Creation can be really uncomfortable. You're being a new version of yourself, and initially it's going to be unfamiliar. There's going to be discomfort, but this is how change is made, and why I created this series to last over the past few weeks, so that you truly understand what and why and how you're doing this as well, and really see in great detail all of the things that you need to do, where you're coming from, where you're going, what you need, so that you feel fully furnished, as opposed to just waking up on the 31st or on the 1st of the year and saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, if you don't have the foundations in place, it may be that you don't actually get to where you want to get to. Start to find comfort in that discomfort when things are always shifting and moving and you can't quite balance it. That just means that you're creating, you're moving, you're shifting, you're adding, and you're not just sitting back on your laurels at that point. Be open to gifts and miracles. What you'll find is when people can see that you're actually seriously taking action, you never know who or what will come your way and offer you assistance and guidance and resources. And that only happens when you keep showing up, because people are watching you. They may not always say, but especially when you're talking about something and then you go deeply into the work to create that, then people start to take notice. Like I say, they don't often say, but they're always there. From Norman Vincent Peale, it's always too soon to quit. So Quitter's Day is an actual thing, and it's held on the second Friday in January. This year, 2024, it falls on January the 12th. Now, interestingly, research shows that up to 80% of the goals set for the year are never met, and by the end of February, they're like pretty much dead in the water. But that's not you, because you're writing down your goals, you're starting with small steps, you're putting time into planning, you're getting support, and you keep reviewing. And as long as you keep reviewing where you are with your goals periodically, you will move forward. I want to make a suggestion. So it's only a couple of weeks away, but maybe you want to celebrate Quitter's Day. Knowing that so many people will be quitting on that day, celebrate the fact that you haven't. Celebrate any past achievements that you've made. So you know that even though you have not achieved the goal that you're working on, you have achieved things in the past. You know what it feels like to see something through. And know that even though you may feel like giving up at some point, maybe not on Quitter's Day, but some way down the line, you don't intend to do that this time. And keep visualizing where you want to be. Remind yourself of why this is important to you. Create not for the money, not for the fame, not for the recognition, but for the pure joy of creating something and sharing it. And also I would suggest that you journal your progress, maybe even share this on social media, because as you're working through your process of creating something from nothing, you're actually creating a unique pathway to success. And this potentially could be a course or something that you offer to others who will want to take the path and replicate your success in the future. We always want to know what people's secrets are, what people's journals are, and you can teach others because you'll be the expert in the field of creating whatever it is that you've created. And as it becomes more successful, people will want to know. They always want to learn from the winners. Over the years of interviewing so many people on Her Conversations, they all have a story of how they got from A to B. And a lot of the time it comes from some sort of disappointment or letdown or setback. And then they decided to move forward, which is why I move into talking about failure. Embrace your failures, because your failures are gifts. And you can always learn from what is supposedly a failure. I mean, what I can say from myself, my failures over the years have all been things that have taught me skills that I utilize on a daily basis. Much of what I'm able to do online in terms of the technical side of things that I also offer as services for other people have been out of me just trying again and failing many times. And that's how my expertise was born. And also other business models that I looked into that I didn't really push forward with them, but I learnt the model and I tried it. And then I got to a certain point where I realized that my heart wasn't in it. And it was just me walking myself into another job, which is not what I wanted to do. But I learnt something then that is really useful for what it is that I create now. And all of those things came from supposed failures. So keep going. Look for your progress over perfection. You're never going to get it right the first time. As you keep going, you'll be learning as you go along. Allow yourself to make errors and allow yourself to sometimes just do it and not necessarily beat yourself up over trying to get things perfect, because getting it done is way better than trying to get it perfect the first time. Because ultimately, and especially if you're doing something that relies on other people liking it and needing it, you're never really going to know what the perfection of it is until you get some feedback. So you need to bring something out there so that others can respond and give you feedback on it. So done is always better than perfect. From Edward de Bono: there is no doubt that creativity is the most important human resource of all. Without creativity, there would be no progress, and we would be forever repeating the same patterns. So as a soul on earth in this world, it is your duty to create. If you're not creating, all you're doing is consuming. If you're not changing, if you're not evolving, you're ultimately decaying, you're dying. In order to get some sort of juice out of life, to feel that you have some excitement and purpose, and to be able to see yourself through the hard days, you need to feel that you're adding some value to the world. Think about it this way: do you want to be adding value to the world every day, or feel that you're in a situation that you can't wait to quit from? So embrace your dreams. And I close with the famous quote from Goethe: whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power and magic in it. I hope you enjoyed Flow into 2024. Happy New Year to you. Here's to you having an amazing 2024. If you've only just joined me on this episode, you can look back over all of the Flow into 2024 series, or just into the Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations podcast in itself. You can do Flow into 2024 anytime. You can spend a week doing it and assign a week of the series to a day, and by the end of the week you'll know where you are and what you need to do to move forward into what it is you want to create in the new year. So look at the show notes to link you to the mailing list and get all the information that you need there. If you want to find out more about me, it's carolmaywhittick.com, carolmaywhittick.com. Find me on LinkedIn and on Facebook, Carol May Whittick, Kazmic, Cazmick on Instagram. I've enjoyed this journey with you. Here's to a great 2024. See you in the new year. Take care. Bye.